Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Are they here to serve us or are they here to serve themselves? When you're jet setting, when you're using your office to line your pockets, it is very clear that you're not here to serve the people. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of this, particularly within the Liberal Party.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Andrew here. We're here with Vonny Sweetland, and he was a former candidate. He was going to run for Toronto St. Paul under the provincial Liberal Party. Vonny, how are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
No problem. So what we wanted to ask you today is what deterred you from running for the provincial Liberal Party? We saw in your statement that you said that they pushed you to run, but they didn't really support you. Do you want to give a little bit of background on what you think happened and what the reasons were that things fell through for you and made you decide to leave?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, look, I'll say this. There's a multitude of Liberal organizers that some of them are endorsed by the party, some of them aren't. I had a few of those organizers approach me and say, look, I think you'd be a great candidate. I think you should run. I have a large media presence. And, folks thought that my community activism paired with that would be a great combination. And I said, sure, let's do it. Fast forward 7 months, pounding the pavement during the pandemic. A lot transpired, and we just ended up in a place where I decided that I was going to pull out and bring my talents elsewhere.
So it sounded to me from some of the statements that I read from you that they weren't providing you with support in the sense that they wanted to push diversity and they wanted to push perhaps underrepresented groups. And did you feel that that was their true message behind it, the true feeling that they wanted to get across, or did they misrepresent themselves in that way in terms of the party?
100%, there's a grave misrepresentation there. Some of the first things that I took notice of, and I always tell people, not just with politics, but in general, you look at actions and not words. So, of course, not just this party, but any party can come out and say, look, we want to reach out to underrepresented groups and we want to make sure we have an extremely diverse caucus. But you look at the fact that fees were reduced, application fees for women and for people under the age of 30. And we're talking about a post-BLM era, if you will. And no thought was put into reducing the fees for people of color running. Toronto St. Paul's, a lot of people call it a riding of a lot of old money. People with, old liberal values, which I would argue are dated. And, the feeling is that they wanted to have somebody in Toronto St. Paul's that is an individual who's probably older than I, has a immense ability to fundraise, has a huge educational background. This riding has formerly sat an attorney general, a minister of health. So a guy like me who really is just, a community activist, I'm young, I don't fit all of those boxes that they are arguably looking for. And so I just wasn't somebody they wanted to see successful here. And they weren't willing to let the process play out.
Any thoughts at all on, do you want to give any opinions on the lockdowns about Liberal ministers getting caught jet setting anywhere? Do you have any thoughts on any of this stuff?
Yeah. Look, I'll say this. At the end of the day, we have to, as voters, we have to look to our elected officials and really ask ourselves this question. Are they here to serve us or are they here to serve themselves? When you're jet setting, when you're using your office to line your pockets, it is very clear that you're not here to serve the people. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of this, particularly within the Liberal Party. And what I'm noticing is you have a lot of Liberals that take the position of do as I say, not so much as I do. And I'm just hoping that people will wake up to some of these things. The first thing that we need in this country is getting people back to work, getting them back to their livelihoods. And we can't do that if we don't roll out the vaccine. Right now, we know that we're number 37 in terms of that rollout in the world. We're falling very far behind a lot of less developed countries. And if you want to quell financial hardship, then you've got to get people vaccinated so that they can get back to work and start providing for their families again. I think that needs to be the goal for all governments. And in terms of, the politicians who are serving that are not living up to, I think, the values and morals that they should be, look, vote them out. vote them out. That's all I can say. Vote them out.
All right. Well, I appreciate you talking with me. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think it's brave of you to come out against the party like this. And I completely agree with the fact that parties have their establishments and they steer things in directions that they want. So I appreciate you talking, and it was really nice talking with you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to go to iwillopen.ca if you plan on opening your business in the face of the lockdowns. I'm not in Montreal.